All right. We're gonna try-
Dean Arnold.
All right. It's the Dean Arnold podcast. It is August the 7th. And as I did in the previous stream, that was a mistake. Let's see here. I think I'll just have to. Yeah, it's waiting for the live signal. I'm not sure what I've done here. It's August 7th. Do you know it's August 7th? I think I know it's August 7th. But there's a lot of confusion about whether it is August 7th or not. But this is the Dean Arnold podcast. I'm not sure if I'm live streaming. I think I am, but I did a first cut at it and I messed up. And I want to delete what I got here on Facebook, but I'm not going to. Anyway, get myself together here. Okay. The topic today is, what day is it? George Washington is asking. Yes, this is true, because in the days of George Washington, they weren't really sure what day it was. There was an 11-day discrepancy. There was a day where they all went to bed on February 2nd and woke up on February 13th. It's the truth. It's the truth. They lost 11 days and they needed to for a reason. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, like, share, subscribe. I'm running for Congress. I'm bringing sanity to an insane world that doesn't know what day it is. Comments appreciated. Today is August 7th. I've already got a comment. Let's bring it up here because I've had a, hey, Dean. What's up, Eric Vigilant? He says, hey, Dean. Hey, Vern. Okay, that's good. I guess that means we're streaming successfully, which is good. So we've got other things to talk about today in terms of what day it is. That's going to be good. But we've got the scriptures of the day, which is our daily practice. So let's get to that. The first scripture of the day is 2 Corinthians chapter 1, 12 through 20. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Paul basically says he's trying to get to the Corinthians via Macedonia, and it's been kind of confusing. But I'm going to do it. My yes is yes. My yes is not no. And I don't really have a lot to say about this passage, to be honest with you. Maybe it's good. Maybe I need to have passages where I don't have something to say so that we don't pretend that I have something to say about every passage. Although I will say, if this yes is your yes is yes and your no is no and your yes is not no, if this is like your word is your bond and I mean what I say and I say what I mean and I keep a promise, then I'm for it, because I'm old school like that. You tell me we're meeting at 2:00 at the coffee shop, I'll be there at 2:00. I'm not going to text you 5 minutes before and say, hey, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. And I'm not going to text you the day before and say, hey, can we move that to next week? No, I put all my stuff together for tomorrow. Yes means yes, no means no. So I guess I did have something to say about that. Let's go to the gospel of the day. Questions, comments appreciated. Bring them on in. We had an election yesterday. Republican primary. If I had run as a Republican, by the way, vote for me in November. I wonder if I got any write-in votes. I don't know how to check that yet, but I'm going to check that. Give them my campaign, DeanArnoldForCongress.com. But anyway, we had an election yesterday, and if I'd have run as a Republican, yesterday would have been the election, and we'd have been done with this. But we got 3 more months of fun because I'm running as an independent. And that's fine because I'm kind of fed up with the Republicans, aren't you? Democrats have lost cause for a long time. Okay, Matthew 22 is this story where Jesus comes to the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They didn't believe in a resurrection. They say, okay, this is a woman. She had a husband. He died. Didn't have any children. And so, as the law says, his brother marries her to give her some seed through the brother. And that happens like 6 times. So the woman has had 7 men. They all died. She died. They're like, if there's a resurrection, whose wife is she in the resurrection? So they're trying to trip Jesus up on the whole concept of the resurrection. So what does Jesus say? He says, in the resurrection, verse 30, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are like angels of God in heaven. So you Sadducees, you miss the whole thing. In heaven, we're not doing marriage. That's what he says. We're going to be like angels in heaven. Now, what does that mean? Well, it certainly buttresses the ongoing theme we've had in this daily podcast, that, there's more to life than sex. Protestants bristle at the idea of celibacy and monasticism and that sort of thing. Can't get past the idea of sex, but there's more to life than sex. The famous quote from Malcolm Muggeridge, who was a kind of a English pundit, the orgasm has replaced the cross as the focus of longing and the image of fulfillment. Think about that. Go write that one down. Google it. But that's what we're talking about here. There's more to life than sex. And we got to get beyond that. The creator of sex, the creator of the orgasm, knows how to keep us happy and pleasured and ecstatic and into wonderful things. And if he says there's no marriage in heaven, there's no marriage in heaven. If Paul says that it's better to be single than to be married, it's better to be single than to be married. Now, I guess you could say that there's kind of a thing where the marriages that we do here stick in heaven, but when we get to heaven, we don't marry. Maybe something like that going on. I don't know. But what we do know, there's more to life than sex. So just keep that in mind. I know, hard passage for some of you people, but you got to think about it. Okay, saint of the day. A guy named Pimen. It's kind of a funny sounding name, but that's neither here nor there. Pimen, Venerable Pimen, the much ailing of the Kiev near caves. Remember, this is Ukraine, you guys. There was another one on the calendar today about some guy who floated up the Dnieper River, which is pretty much the battle line right now in the Ukraine war. So interesting stuff. But remember, this is a deeply Christian place, Ukraine, historically Christian. Saint Pimen attained the kingdom of heaven by enduring grievous illness. He grew up sickly, but he sought his parents for a long time. I want to go to the Kiev Caves Monastery. I want to go to the Kiev Caves Monastery, Mommy and Daddy. Don't hear that too much these days. But his parents brought their son to the famed monastery, and then they began to pray for him to be healthy. But the sufferer himself, Pimen, conscious of the high value of suffering, we don't know that one, instead asked the Lord both for the continuation of his sickness and also to be tonsured into monasticism. So he still wants to become a monk, but he asked the Lord, don't deliver me from my sickness, because I know that suffering has high value, and I want to continue suffering. Can you stand it? One night, radiant angels appeared in the guise of monks and tonsured him. They told him he would receive his health only on the day of his death. Several of the brethren heard the sound of singing, and coming to St. Pimen, they found him attired in monastic garb. In his hand, he held a lit candle, and his tonsured hair could be seen at the crypt of St. Theodosius. St. Pimen spent many years in sickness, so that those attending to him could not tolerate it. They often left him without food or water for 2 or 3 days. They just didn't want to be around the guy, but he endured everything with joy. He was compassionate towards his brothers. There's some incidents where he got dissed, and he forgave him and continued to overcome. And then one day he got well. He was feeling good. So he told the brothers, I'm going to die today. Then he lay down upon his bed and fell asleep in the Lord. The brethren buried him with great honor, glorifying God. So that's some good stuff. He realized there was high value in suffering. I heard a podcast by Tucker Carlson today and yesterday, where one of his points was we've gotten past the idea of suffering, and that there is a value in suffering, and that we need to suffer sometimes in order to get to the next level. I think this is the context of Big Pharma trying to give you a drug, an antidepressant for any kind of problem in your life, but instead you need to push through. But there is a high value in suffering, and boy, Lord have mercy on me to be able to embrace that idea. And all of us as we get older, it's a struggle. It's a you get older and older, and old people are in pain, and it used to be you suffered through and then you died. Now it's like, well, maybe we ought to put you to death. Maybe we ought to give you a drug that'll kill you. There's a solution, because we want to avoid pain at all cost. And that's a murderous sentiment that we're going to have to get past. So Lord help us do that. Anyway, there you go, St. Pieman. All right, let's talk about the topic of the day, which is, what is the day? How can we have a topic of the day if we don't know what the day is? Well, I said at the beginning of the podcast that it's August 7th. Is it? Comments and questions appreciated, especially appreciated right now, because I'm not sure if I'm actually successfully live streaming. So if you're out there, give it a shot. And what I did might have screwed up the live chat. Let me poke over here and see what's happening. Yeah, it looks like I screwed up the live chat. So if you're in YouTube, you might have to do a regular YouTube comment, not a live chat. That's okay. Questions and comments appreciated. Oh, here we go. Another one from Eric Vigilant. Dean, what is your favorite cigar? Or what's your favorite cigars, plural? And I'm smoking an Oliva O right now for you insiders. I generally smoke Olivas because of the merging between quality and price point. I like the master blends. I like especially the Melania, which actually can be a little pricey. And I like the O's. And that's about it. The Oliva 5s, not so good unless it's a Melania. Once in a while, I'll smoke with my father. They're a little pricey. What else? I found a Macanudo the other day that I kind of like, but I'm not going to put that up there as. And then I've always smoked Padrones, but actually the low level Padrones I've had some not 100% success with lately. So the best answer to your question is Oliva. And we're going to do a podcast on cigars. Thank you, Eric, for that comment. More comments and questions appreciated. Okay, what day is it? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it first, just in how we orient ourselves, what calendar we use and why. When do we start the calendar? Well, the calendar that we use now is the base foundations point would be the Julian calendar, okay? That was put together by none other than Julius Caesar himself around 45 BC. Of course, it's all dated now around Jesus Christ, before Christ, AD, Adelphi Dei, in the year of our Lord. So it's all about Jesus. It's all the calendars now are around Jesus Christ. But Julius Caesar did put together a calendar that was based on 365 days in a year, divided up in 12 for 12 months. And, these months were named after, July is after Julius Caesar. June is after Juno, the wife of the gods. And there's some other ones that are kind of fascinating. January for Janus, the Roman god of doors, gates, and beginnings. February for February, a Roman purification festival held during that time of the year. Mars is the namesake for March, the month of March. Maya is for May. And then September, October, November, December mean 9, 10, 11, 12. 12th month, December. Anyway, I digress. So where does the calendar start? Well, depends on where you are. If you're in Scandinavia, way back when, it was around the winter solstice, which is like December 21st. Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, is in September. The Islamic New Year between mid-August and mid-September. The Chinese New Year between January and February. So everybody had a different idea of when to start the calendar. But in England, where we mostly come from, we's people, they were starting the new year at the winter solstice, December 21st. Vikings kind of had that influence on the Anglo-Saxons, and but when the Anglo-Saxons got defeated by the Normans in 1066, about 100 years later, the Normans decided they were going to change the start of the year to Lady Day, March 25th. It's called Lady Day because it's the Feast of the Annunciation, when the angel Gabriel told Mary that she was going to conceive a child by the Holy Spirit. The virgin birth. That's March 25th, Lady Day, which also happens to be my birthday. But anyway, so they changed the beginning of the year to Lady Day, March 25th. Fun fact. Why do we do our taxes on April 6th? Why not January 1st? Because 11 days after March 25th, Lady Day, which used to be the beginning of the year, and we'll talk about 11 days in a little bit, is April 6th. So we want to make sure we do our taxes at the beginning of the year. All right. So Lady Day became the new beginning of the year, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it switched back to January 1st for reasons. But more importantly, let's talk about the fact that the Julian calendar, Julius Caesar's little thing, didn't quite work. And why is that? Well, actually, the year, they did it like 365 days and 6 hours, but it was actually 365 days, 5 hours and 49 minutes. So every year they lost 11 minutes. I think that's right. It might be gained. I get this gets real mathematical, so bear with me. But yeah. Okay. Since I screwed up in every other way today technologically, I did try to add a little header to my ditty that kind of introduces the show. I'm a little too far into it now, but I'm going to do that right now, and let's have some fun with that, and then I'll get into the lost 11 minutes a year. All right, there you go. I just added the Fear the Beard thing there. So that's our little ditty to have some fun with this show. Dean Arnold for Congress, Fear the Beard. 11 minutes lost every year. So after 128 years, you lose a day. And so what happened as we got into the 1500s, Pope, which Pope was it? Pope Leo, Pope Gregory. He switches to a new calendar. So we go from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. Now everybody's on the Gregorian calendar. Almost everybody. The Orthodox Church in Russia and Greece and a few other places in the old world are not on it. That's the only holdouts. We'll get to that. But Pope Gregory in the 15 somethings, but anyway, in 1582, I think they switched the calendar. They added some days. They added 11 days. And had to tweak some leap years and that kind of thing in order to get things right. Because what was happening was it'd be like March 1st and it'd feel like summer, and so it has a problem because everybody thought March was spring. And then they have Easter around March or April, and Easter's happening in, the heat of the summer. It just didn't make any sense. So something had to be done. So Gregory puts together this new calendar that fixes all that. And in 1582, people started hopping on board. Italy, France, Portugal, Spain, all the continental European countries. But England was a holdout. England had the empire, and it was just too much trouble. But finally, in 1750, the British Parliament passed an act called the Calendar Act, I think, that said in 1752, you're going to go to bed at February 2nd, and you're going to wake up, it's going to be February 13th. Crazy, but they did that. That's what they did. I got a little visual. It might help us on that. Okay. I may have to take away this thing to help read it. Okay. I can't really read it myself, but on this day commenced the year of our Lord. Let me make it big. 1752, before the something of which we are, by late act of Parliament of Great Britain, required to use the new or Gregorian style instead of the old or Julian style of calendar. So that's the proclamation. Let's get out of that. That was fun to see because we need some visuals for this podcast. But so that's what happened. So George Washington, so that's why I got in the subheading down here. What day is it? George Washington is asking. George Washington, the first half of his life, his birthday was February 11th. And the second half of his life, it was February 22nd. What's your birthday? Oh, well, he actually, it took him a long time, I think, to acknowledge it and to start using that as his birthday. Let's say I got a little, I can bring this back up. There you go. So George Washington is asking, what day is it? February 11th when he was born, February 22nd later in life. Ben Franklin made a little quip. He said, hey, this is kind of nice if you're old. You get to go to bed. You don't have to get up until, 11 days later. This is nice. He's always good for a quip. And there was a guy in England who went around betting. Everybody says, I bet I could dance 10 days nonstop. And a bunch of people bet him and said, you can't do that. And so on the night of February 2nd, he started dancing on a table in a pub. And then the clock turns 12 or whatever. And he's like, I did it. Dance 12 days or 10 days. So there was some other hooligan-y kind of stuff going on. After England did it, which included the British colonies, included the American colonies in 1752. Who was next on the list? Russia finally did it in like 1912. Then Greece in like 1923. Turkey was the last major nation to do it. So everybody now is on the Gregorian calendar, except the Russian Orthodox Church, the Greek Orthodox Church. There's some strains of Orthodox churches in America that stay on the old calendar, ROCOR being one of them, Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia. There's probably a few others like Bulgarian, Serbian, Romanian. I'm not sure about that, but they still use the old calendar, and it's a bit of a divisive subject. I find it fascinating. Maybe you don't. Sorry if you don't find it fascinating, but I do. Questions and comments welcome. But what day is it? Who says? I think it's a fascinating topic, and the most important part is that Gregory, I'm not sure how it worked with Julian. It must have worked with him too. But Christ is the center of the calendar. Things are dated before Christ and after Christ. Right now, we consider ourselves to be 2,026 years after the birth of Christ. Right? So that's the most important part of how we date everything. But you got to get your calendars right, because if it's not actually 365 days in a year, if it's 365 days and 6 hours, or 365 days and 5 hours and 49 minutes, maybe not a big deal for the next few years, but 1,000 years from now, and if we believe in a positive future, we need to be thinking about 1,000 years from now. We don't want to be all out of whack with our calendar now, do we? Okay. I'm running for Congress. Vote for me in November. Did you write me in yesterday? I'm going to check and see if I got any write-ins. I believe I have already had someone tell me they wrote me in. So we'll have to check on that. Like, subscribe, share. I'm bringing sanity to an insane world. This world doesn't even know what day it is. Well, maybe we do now. But there was a time when we didn't. And that was a politically turmoilous, unstable time as well. So they didn't know what day it was. They didn't know what country it was. They didn't know what government it was. And they kind of got it all sorted out. Well, today we know what day it is, unless you go to the Orthodox Church, and then it gets a little bit confusing. But today is August 7th. That is what we're generally agreeing on culturally. Today is August 7th. August, what is August? August is the Augustus, who was the Caesar that followed Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar. Octavian, I think, was his given name. So August is after Augustus Caesar. It's Augustus month, 7th day. And we are in it, and we are going to bring sanity to this insane world. All right. I think we're good from here. I got to bring in the music. Appreciate you guys. Sorry about the technical problems. We'll see how that went down.
Dean Arnold.